Hey guys, it's JStars360 here with another Clone Wars vlog. Now, before I get into this, again, I really want to apologize for the lack of Powerpuff Girls vlogs. I know there's a bunch of people who love them and want me to do more, and I want to do more, but again, I just got again, I'm in school, so I've got really busy with schoolwork. Unfortunately, hang on, sorry, something was distracting me. I just don't have the time, so again, I'll try to get one up as soon as possible, but I don't want to make any promises. Again, I'll do my best, but just keep in mind I do have a life, so those might be a little bit annoying. Anyway, so, and for those of you who are saying, well, you're doing these instead of those, well, keep in mind I have to watch it, take notes, and then do the vlog. So that's like a good 20 minutes, since the episodes are usually 10 minutes long, and the vlogs usually take 10. But anyway, let's get into Season 3 of Clone Wars. Now, Season 1, I really didn't care for some, outside of a couple moments. Season 3, 2 was to get fun. Season 3 is a mixed bag. It has some of the best episodes of the Clone Wars I've ever seen, and some of the worst. Stuff that in here that just where I was going, that is Star Wars. And then there was stuff where I'm like, oh my gosh, we're into prequel territory. So, again, I'm just going to overview the arcs really quickly, some of my thoughts. If you want me to go more into depth on certain episodes, please comment, and I'll be more than happy to reply. So, the first episode is, arc is actually both a prequel and sequel to Rookies. It features, first one is Domino's squad as cadets completing training, and the second one is them returning as ARC troopers following the Rookies episode to help defend Kamino against the series. This is a really good episode. It had a really nice setup, helped set up the characters, showing them both before and after. Nice setup, then awesome payoff of a great battle. Awesome battle of the Clone Wars. Awesome battle seeing the clones fighting the Separatists on Kamino. This was great Star Wars. This was an awesome battle. Awesome episode. Great setup, great payoff. And it makes sense that they aired the episodes this way. I mean, you could have just gone from Rookie. You could have just done the attack on Kamino as a sequel to Rookies, but we wouldn't have been as invested because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be set up. You know, like clones on their homeworld and such, yada yada. So great episode. Then there's Supply Lines, which is an okay episode. I'm not entirely sure what. Hang on, let me just look up what Supply Lines is really quick. I think this is the episode with the spider guy. I could be wrong. Hold on. I lost my Wi-Fi. But yeah, from what I gather, that episode, from what I wrote down, I said the episode was okay. And hold on. Oh wait, no, this wasn't. Oh, this was the Jar Jar episode. Yep, another Jar Jar episode. Not worth seeing. It's only worth seeing because the setting it's setting comes back later in an awesome arc. And then there's Spear of Influence, which is basically the sequel to the Trespass episode, which is awesome. It wasn't that interesting. I like seeing a character voiced by Jennifer Hale, but it wasn't that interesting. It was mainly just George Lucas episode, since the main character in this episode, George Lucas, played in Revenge of the Sith. Didn't really care for it. Yeah, so didn't know if I said this, but every episode, so Season 3 starts off great with the Kamino arc, but then we get into a lot of episodes that are pretty boring, pretty forgettable, probably some of the weakest episodes I've seen. Then you have Corruption on Mandalore. Then you have another Mandalore arc, which I do not care about. It's, again, most of these episodes in between now and the Savage arc, which I'm going to mention a bit, they're not bad. It's just they're really end. There's when you have a bunch of episodes clumped back together, it doesn't do much for your season. And some of them are really heavy on the politics. So all these heavy political episodes back to back makes for a weak season. The next arc is another Mandal arc. I really didn't care for it. It was slow, it dragged, it was very political, just like the prequels, and I don't really care for politics in Star Wars. You had one episode dealing with corruption on Mandalore, another episode dealing with a bunch of kids solving a mystery. It was just not that good. Then they resumed the Zero the Hutt plotline, which was kind of interesting. You just had to remove the middle episode, which was weak, of the arc. The first episode is basically a sequel to the Season 2 finale. Oh, by the way, don't try to make sense of when the episodes in this arc take place and relative to the other seasons, because you'll just hurt your brain. The first episode is a sequel to the Season 2 arc, and deals with Ahsoka's rivalry with Aurra Sing. And it's really cool. Then there's Evil Plans, which takes place... Again, I'm not going to make it a chronology, but basically, it's showing Cad Bane getting the blueprints of the Jedi Temple for his invasion at the end of Season 1. I really didn't care for this episode. It was kind of pointless. And it just feels really insignificant, like something you could have explained in the next episode. It was basically Cad Bane just captures R2 and C-3PO to get the schematics to the Jedi Temple for the Season 1 finale, and I just said that. But what I was going to say is at the end of the episode, they reveal the Hutt clan. I feel like the ending, the revelation of the Hutt clan and why they need to capture Zero the Hutt, I feel like you could just sum that up in the opening to the next episode, which was really good. I like the story. I like the expansion of the Star Wars universe. We got to see now Hutto, which was really cool, and good action. Zero was killed off, I did not like Zero, so I was more than happy to see that. And then we get into another weak arc. Well, it's kind of all right, but it's just so political, and we're getting all these political episodes back to back. We have heroes on both sides, which I guess is kind of interesting, because it deals with the fact that not everyone on the Separatist side is a bad guy, and which is an interesting concept to explore. Although I think Last Airbender explored it much better. But is it really fair to compare Clone Wars to Last Airbender? Last Airbender is considered by a lot of people to be one of, if not the best cartoons of all time. So anyway, then the second half of this episode, I think, weaker. Lots of political dialogue. Oh yeah, the Cellcaf were in that episode, second half of that political arc, where I just realized I forgot to mention. Sorry if I'm mumbling a lot, but it's been such a long time since I saw these episodes that my memory's a little fuzzy on them. But yeah, it's the one where Padme is trying to get the peace bill passed between the Separatists and the Republic, and the Separatists are trying to sabotage it so that way the war can keep going. Alright, so those episodes were all really boring, but then we get into the really awesome arc, which is the Savage arc, a press arc, which is really good. It's the best storytelling of the entire series up to this point. And this is where this arc was just like, this is Star Wars. This is awesome. The writing quality just spiked up. I could not believe this was the same show I couldn't believe that this arc and the movie were the same show. The quality was just, holy shit. It's like, wow, this show is actually legit Star Wars. I don't need to say, I don't feel like I could go on about this arc for hours, but I'm just going to say, go see this. If you're one of those people who really is on the fence as to whether or not they want to watch Clone Wars, this arc will convince you to watch it. Oh yeah, and before I go, I especially love what they do with Asajj, and I love the nods to her story from the expanded universe. Great nod to fans. And by the way, this arc was written by Katie Lucas, George Lucas's daughter. That's right, George Lucas's daughter is better at writing Star Wars than George Lucas. Now, I know George Lucas came up with the ideas for Star Wars, but he was just really hands-on. We've seen what happened when George Lucas gets too hands-on with something. The prequels. George Lucas came up with the ideas for the original trilogy, but he didn't execute them. Prequels, he was hands-on. But yeah, so kudos to his daughter for writing this phenomenal arc. Then you have the Mortis trilogy, where Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan go to this planet. This is a really dark, really awesome episode. Love it. I love how it's basically they go to this planet where they experience one giant metaphor for the events to come in the Star Wars trilogy. It's really interesting. Again, go see it. I love it. Then there's the Citadel, which... Hang on, sorry. I need to recall... let me read about this. I need to remember what the episode is. Oh yeah, this is the one where they have to go rescue someone, and where the characters from the Clone Wars have to go rescue Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka go and break into the Citadel to rescue someone. I forget his name. I'm blanking. Oh yeah. And it turns out the person they're rescuing is Tarkin, which I thought was a really cool reveal. I really liked it. It was a fun arc. And it was a really nice way to bring an original trilogy character into the prequel universe and tie them together. I thought Tarkin was a really nice bridge. And I really like setting up his character now, introducing him as a prominent figure in the Republic, who became a prominent figure in the Empire. I think that's really cool to set up. And they bring him back in Season 5 for the final arc, which is really cool and, again, helps show the Republic becoming an empire. But yeah, this is a fun episode. I like more the payoff of just establishing Tarkin and his relationship with Anakin. But yeah, it was fun. And then we have the final arc, which is fun. Basically, the Ahsoka gang thrown into an arena battle where Chewie shows up and we get to see Chewie. It was a fun episode. It wasn't an amazing season finale by any means, but it was fun. I do wish Chewie was a bit more the focus. I mean, they really built up the fact that Chewbacca was going to be in this episode, but really it's kind of minor. But it was still cool to see him. So yeah, overall this was a season that started off really strong with a Camino episode, and then it got really boring. A lot of political episodes, a lot of just boring episodes. Then we had the Savage Press trilogy and the Mortis trilogy back to back. I wish they put the Mortis trilogy at the end, so that way you'd have a really good season finale. Nothing against the Hunger Games-ish battle, the Ahsoka in the arena arc, but I don't know. It just wasn't as good as Savage and the Savage and I just blanked out. The Savage and Mortis arc. So yeah, highlight episodes: Arc Troopers. That's the second episode of the Camino arc. The Hunt for Zero, which is the final, which is the one where Zero dies. Witches in the Mist, which is the final episode is the Savage Press arc. The Altar of Mortis and the Ghost of Mortis. Actually, just that entire arc is awesome. And that's pretty much it. The duds are basically everything from most of the stuff in the first half of season 1 you can pretty much skip. I really don't care for. I don't care for, yeah, pretty much everything in that first half. So yeah, this is a fun episode. Again, so overall, again, fun season, better. Some really good stuff in here, and stuff I wanted to see the Clone Wars do more of, and thankfully they did. So please join me next time. That's all I have to say. Please join me next time for my thoughts on season. I just blanked out. For my thoughts on season 4, which is a pretty good season, as I'll say when we get there. See you then. But until then, may the Force be with you.